Welcome to my daily review. You are looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which going sideways, but still went up again today and had an all-time close of what was it? 17,862. It was up 5 points or 0.03%. Volume again, above average daily volume. So the Nasdaq is the leading index, or you can see yesterday it closed at 857, today 17,862. So just a higher close. But while it kind of goes sideways here, markets and stocks correct through price and or time. And it looks like it's correcting just through just going sideways through, time, not price. It's not crashing right down to the 21. But I just want you to take a look here at you know, the was it the 10 EMA here? I'll go here on this day, the 10th, it was 17,001, and it's 1.1% above its 10. Now it ramped higher, had a couple of nice 1% gains, and now it's at 17,862, and it's 2% above the 10 EMA, but now the 10 EMA is 17,507. So you see what I mean? It could, as these moving averages rise, yeah, it's going to pull back to them, but it's going to pull back at way higher prices. So instead of being at 17,000, now it's at 17,500, and it just looks like it's melting up. It doesn't want to go down. If we take a look at the 5-minute chart here on the Nasdaq, this was yesterday where it ripped higher and then pulled back into the close. Now today it was weak at the open, traded lower all the way down to 796. Buyers came in and it came up higher. It just doesn't want to go down. So we'll take it, right? It's the strongest index, and this is where our growth stocks are. And this is why I pay attention to the Nasdaq, because of they're more my style of stocks. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. The Nasdaq's doing great. By the way, tomorrow is the market's closed. I will have a video for the Education Center on the stocks that gapped up during last earnings quarterly reports, because there's some folks on Twitter who are saying that the market's dead because those stocks are gapping and dying, but they're not doing their homework. There's a lot of stocks that are doing well. There are some that have gapped up and returned to, their gap land or their moving averages. But I just wanted to point this out. So tomorrow I'll have that video, even though the market's closed. I think you'll find it interesting. I did. I enjoyed looking at these stocks and how well they're performing. It's an uptrending market. We're in a power trend, from the 15,222 to 17,862. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out this is in an uptrend with the moving averages stacked. I know, it's 8.2% above the 50, and maybe it's just going to get comfortable trading up there. But I'm on the lookout, and a lot of people are really nervous. They don't like this market. It's overvalued, cannot justify the move in the stock. You don't argue with the market. You get the market that you get. You don't get the market that you want. And not every stock is going higher and ripping. It's actually, we're doing a very good job of identifying select stocks that are doing well, but there's a lot of stocks that aren't doing well. And I'll get that in a minute, because after I do my large cap tech stocks, I'm going to start you off on the negative path, and then I'll bring you back on a positive road. This is Apple. Made the big run following its Developers Conference, and just waiting for the moving averages. Sideways action is very good. Just want to hold this day here. The lows of that day was 193. So yeah, and the lows of this day was 206. Apple looks fantastic. Microsoft did not participate either today. Just a little, little incy beansy teeny weeny pullback here before the holiday. Midweek holiday, it's kind of strange, but like I say, we get the market that we get, not the one that we want. NVIDIA was a big, strong horse today. This was doing the bulwark of the Nasdaq here, as a lot of the larger cap tech stocks were lower. This is now the largest market. Again, they're making a big deal about NVIDIA's market cap. You don't even worry about that. You just take it one day at a time, and as long as it's trending in the right direction, it's fine. This is my largest holding, and there's nothing to do here but trim on the way up. You know, you raise your stops if you desire, but NVIDIA is doing nothing wrong. Anyway, I told you I'd get to the negative stuff first. I'm a positive guy. I don't like the negative stuff, but I will acknowledge there is a lot of stocks not doing well, and Bitcoin is just having a heck of a time. The digital currency markets, I do have coin on my ready list this week because it's set up in a base. I like buying stocks near moving averages in a base, and that's what coin's doing, but it just can't move any higher because the digital currency market is just in a big slump. You know, even though the Nasdaq's rallying, Bitcoin is going the other way. So coin, I still like it. I believe it will break out, pull back to the 21, and it's done it a couple times before here, as you can see. But I'm just kind of waiting on the markets to accommodate these stocks. MSTR, this is one that I was going to put on this week, and I held off on it. Pretty volatile name, but once again, trading tight within base, had an inside day today, pulled back to its 50 yesterday, but you can see this cup with handle consolidation. I really like those two, but I'm not going to, you know, add a bunch of stocks right now on the ready list from the digital currency market until they start acting a little better. This is Hood, broke out, ran up, now it's pulling back towards its 21 here. And if it gets back near that old buy point, you know, I'll put it back on. But that's not you know, what I want to see either in a you know, a stock right now in the uptrending market. You want to see your stocks going higher. This is CLSK, and this one I will put on our ready list because it's broken above a downtrend line. Even though the digital currency markets are weak, this one's showing strength. Why is it up the last 2 days, bouncing off the 21 when those other ones are dying? Yeah, so I kind of like Clean Spark. I'm going to put that on for Thursday morning. Yeah, so it looks good to me. All right, so that's the negative stuff. Not too bad. I'm going to get to the hardware. You know, today's playbook was kind of the same as yesterday. The hardware names were ramping. This is Dell, sold off with earnings. The shorts couldn't push it below the 50. It just kind of squatted there for a while, and now it's rebounding. And I think I mentioned this every day that it does have a gap to fill there, 165.11. So if you traded this 140 to 165, that's a 25-point move if it gets there, and I believe it will. But like I said, we'll take it one day at a time. Big volume coming in today, and I didn't like the close particularly. Had a nice couple of days. You can see this is Monday, the ramp up, Tuesday, the ramp up, and then profit taking. You know, profit taking is going to happen. You know, going into not a, I guess you can call it a holiday. It's a one-day holiday. SMCI, it's not a 3-day weekend holiday, just one day. Once again, broke above the downtrend line. It's going to put this one on our ready list here. I do like this one. The hardware names are acting better. SMCI today, especially, you know, I like this stock above 900. So that one's going on along with, what was the other one that I said? CLSK, SMCI, like them both. All right. Vert is another one of these hardware names that starting to act better, kind of like Dell, right? Sold off down to the 50, squatted. They couldn't push it down. And now it trades through all of its moving averages. So I don't know. I still think this is going to set up in some kind of a base. I don't know what kind, but you know, it traded through its moving averages now 2.7% above the 10. And it made that high on May 24th, and it's been, you know, correcting ever since. So it's been almost a month of correction for VRT. Some of the other names that you know, are doing well is the data storage group. This is Micron. Full disclosure, I sold some of this today on the spike because I don't want to be a pig. I don't want to be greedy. I want to hold the stock, but I also want to trim some and take profits. This has been a heck of a move. I'm surprised even following that you know, shakeout, you know, and then the breakout. I'm surprised by this strength here. It is, you know, a top group. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see it ramped yesterday, traded higher all day, ramped today, and then profit takers came in, which is to be expected. Now it's got a gap in its daily chart there at, if I could get on track price, we could figure out the high from Monday, 148.75. There you go. Pure Storage, somebody said they have an investor day this week, something like that. I don't know. I've been busy doing a lot of different things, but 68.75 is an area of interest for me. And today it, took that out easily, but closed below it. And that was from May 30th. So it's been pulled back with earnings and now just trading along its moving averages. Pure Storage looks absolutely fine. Western Digital traded above 80 today. This one's a little slower mover, but you can see the cup with handle, the pullback here, the shakeout, then the breakout, moving a little slower than some of the other ones. NetApp, double bottom base, ripping higher. Kelly Slater stock, just getting support at the moving average, hanging 10. Every time the 10 comes along, it hangs 10. All right, what was it? Oh, SIMO. I did put this one on my ready list. You say, well, gosh, this thing is, just kind of lagging, right? The other ones are breaking out, making new highs. This thing's just formed this little bull wedge here. Can't get out of its own way. You look at the weekly chart, you can see this big consolidation here of 44 weeks, and it really does need to move, higher here. So it did take out last week's high, which is always a good thing. But still, it's having trouble. 84.75 was last week's high. Today it hit 85.50. So once again, a little slower mover, and I don't know why. It only has 32 million shares outstanding, but yeah, this thing needs to start moving. All right, that's it for the hardware. Those data storage names. I got to get to the drug stocks, and I've got to hand it to the shareholders at Silk Road Medical bought out today, and you can see the little itty bitty dot here. So it's a 24% move, and that's living in the penthouse. We'll take that. Look at the volume here. So Silk was bought out, so congratulations to the longs there. Hims is one that I like. It's it is a Kelly Slater stock. It broke out of a base here. This is one that I have on my video for tomorrow for everyone who cares, who gives a darn. But it did break out from its base. Ripped higher, and if I change the moving average here, you can see that it just likes the 5. I have it set on the 10, but if I go to the 5, yeah, it just kind of keeps bumping along there. It's hanging 5 toes off a short board, and just wants higher prices. I did look into their earnings reports, and they've got nice sales, nice margins. You're looking at a 5 billion market cap stock, so smaller type of stock. Yeah, I kind of like Hims. Another one, of course, in drugs. I've got to mention NVO. I'm going to put this one back on our ready list because I don't know. This thing just wants to pull back to the 21, and I'm all for it. This weekend, there's going to be an ADA meeting, American Diabetes Association conference, and NVO is going to, or Novo Nordisk, will present some data for their a couple of their drugs. So I suspect it's not going to be all that terrible. And Monday morning, we might get a little pop. The Lilly's going to be there, Dexcom, all the biggies in the drug area. So I believe Novo Nordisk, well managed, great medicines. They're gonna, I don't know, they're gonna make a presentation. I think it'll be well received, and I would embrace pullbacks here. I'm hoping it comes back to the 21, which is 138.53, which kind of coincides with that old high there. So I'll pay a couple more bucks if it doesn't come down. I like that stock. All right, I'm going to move on from the drugs to the kind of the medical product stocks. The Da Vinci from Intuitive Surgical, breakout from a base, just surfing its moving averages higher. Made a new high today. Who doesn't like new highs? LMAT, another one that, these people talk about, breakouts aren't working. Well, come on, man, look at this. This one broke out 11%. It was trading at 69 that day. Now it's at 83. Hello, making new highs. I don't know. I think people see what they want to see, Now, I'm a positive person, so I'm always looking for the strength and the positives. So maybe I just gravitate that way, and maybe I'm too bullish. I don't know. We all have our own idiosyncrasies. All right. The other one was TMDX, which is another one that'll be featured because this one gapped higher. What, May 1, the low was 105, now it's at 145, the high was 124. If you bought it at any point that day, you're a happy camper. Just surfing its moving averages. Come on, man. That thing looks fantastic. So the medical product stocks look good as well. All right. Oh man, I gotta go to somebody asked me about Bros, if I would look at Bros, and Bros is a pretty simple story for me. Yeah, I was disappointed in the close today, be quite honest, because it looked like it was gonna really rip like Elf, but it didn't. And I'll get to Elf in a minute. And it just profit taking into the holiday, and that's kind of to be expected. But there was a note out today about how I forget who put it out, Cowen or UBS, some analyst said that they were very impressed with their growth trajectory, and they're going to bring food to combine with their drinks, and they're, opening new stores, and, they got their CapEx spending under control. And it just seems like it's just breaking out of this stage one base here on the weekly. And, got to point out the, these big blue volume bars. That's not Aunt Sally or Uncle Bill buying this stock here. Those are big institutional footprints, and so it sells off on light volume and it rips on heavy volume. So yeah, I was disappointed with the close, but I think if you just take a long-term look, the analyst today was talking about 26 and 27. So thinking longer term, this thing's got a runway for growth, and this is just an IPO base moving out of this stage one area, emerging from the due diligence phase into the advanced phase. EPS line heading due north. Yeah, I own Bros. I like Bros. I'm only disappointed because I had to cut loose my calls. Because it was weakness. Calls and options, I don't like the decay. So when I play options, I don't like it going the other way on me. CAVA is another one, strength galore. It went down last week or the week before on some insider selling or something. Not a big deal. They sell all the time. Michael Dell was on, I saw him and he sold some of his stock, and he's owned the company for 40 years. And these CEOs that have owned companies for 40 years, I mean, they have a lot of stock to sell, right? They got to put gas in the yacht, right? So, sell, diversify, buy some real estate. But the guy's a multi-billionaire, so let him sell some stock. It's not going to deter me from buying Dell. Anyway, CAVA, had this IPO base, and then it had this big shakeout, came down to the old high, and now is ripped higher. To me, people ask, can I buy it now? Can I buy it now? Well, it's getting extended now, but you can see it pulls back to the moving averages. And today it's, a little bit extended, 4.9% above the 10. So wait for it to come back. And the 10 and the 21 are rising. So you might have to pay a higher price, but you're going to get it closer to a moving average. I just wouldn't chase it, because you buy up here, then it has a natural pullback, and then you feel bad. You're underwater. I got to sell it, take a loss. So you go through all that, rigmarole. You don't have to do that. Buy it closer to a moving average. CMG, I had to own this stock to participate in the 50-to-1 stock split. Just a big move here. Another one that broke out on earnings, and it's just it's pulled back to the 50 and making new highs. Gotta like that action. And then Wingstop, another new high today. Thought I was going to have trouble with 400, and it kind of did. It hit 400, pulled back to the 50, had a little bit of trouble here, but now it looks like 400's in the rear view mirror for Wingstop. All right, the last group that I'm going to get to is the retailers. ELF is the one that I have to point out today. ELF has been on our ready list a couple weeks in a row. I was kind of hesitant to put it on this week because we've had so much good fortune with it recently, but just notice it did gap higher. This is another one that's on my list. It gaps higher, right? 18% on May 23rd. Then what does it do? It pulls back because there's going to be profit taking. Pulls back to moving average. It finds support, runs up to 202.58, pulls back to a moving average. So now that's kind of your standard buy point. I thought it would have trouble with 200, but what did it do? It just pulls back and then rips higher today. There was a note out, I think it was Cowen, The analyst said she is doing channel checks and ELF is just kicking butt, if I can use that term. She didn't say that. I said that. Taking market share, their channel check showed that ELF is taking share. They're getting more shelf space in places like Walmart and Target, and ELF meets their customers where their customers are, like on Twitch, Roblox, TikTok. They have like 7 million Instagram followers. This is a monster stock. I don't think it's done. And she was talking about longer runway too, years and years, because they're just getting into Canada, Mexico, Italy. They haven't even scratched the surface of their international sales growth. There you can see the IPO base. We talked about how well it did during the 2022 bear market, and then it just took off. So this is a monster, and I think it's got room to run. Elf Beauty, big winner today, up nearly 10%. With volume. So yeah, I like ELF. I own ELF, and I've owned it, and I like ELF. So there you go. And I do use their products. This is Boot Barn, another one. Gosh, this one's serial gapper. You can see it gaps here, 4%, gaps again. Follow along on their gap, another 4%. This gap day here is a 4%. 3-something%. So it continues, right? Just making these higher highs, and finally formed this little shelf type pattern recently. After making this high here, it formed a little shelf, pulled back to the 10. This is why I say wait. Wait. Why buy it here when you can wait till it pulls back to moving average and buy it here? So you got to be patient, have discipline, don't chase. Because I'm telling you, if you buy it here, I know people, I know psychology. If you buy it here, let's say 131, and then it pulls back, a couple weeks later, you're sitting there at 126, you're going, darn, I'm $5 underwater. I hate this stock. It's never going to work. So you sell it, and then what happens? Then it makes a new high at 134. So don't be that guy, or don't be that person, excuse me. Boot Barn looks fine. Lazy Boy ramped. I'm a lazy boy. It ramped with he's not a rough boy, he's a lazy boy. Yeah, nice earnings move. 20%, we'll take that all day long. So this is gonna be on the PEG list, the power earnings gap. Still right there at the old, standard buy point, but just see what it does here in the next couple sessions. It is at that pivot point. Lazy boy, fantastic move. Congrats to the longs there. And the last one I'm going to show is OLLI. And then I'm going to go OLLI, new high today, breaking out from this base. If we take a look at the weekly, then what did it do? It got around the old buy point, and then it looked like it's going to move, and it shook everybody out. Look at that move, shaking out down to the 10. Oh, darn. And it's going to crash. If you listen to these shorts, it's going to crash. Everything's going to crash. So don't listen to those negative Nancy's. This one's in a consolidation for a long time. 14 weeks here, 14 weeks here. I mean, that's 28 weeks of just going sideways. That's half a year. And now it's starting to move out of its base. Earnings going due north. I've never been to an OLLI store. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching my daily review. I will have a video out tomorrow in the education center on stocks that have gapped up last quarter. Anyway, I lie. And in the honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing. Actually, two more things. KB Homes reported earnings tonight. Beat top and bottom line. They raised the lower end of their guidance. Looks pretty good for KB. I mean, it's 5 billion market cap stock. It's not big like DR Horton or Pulte, but I mean, it's not going to carry the home builder group. But I just wanted to point out, folks, about the rotation. Like right now, AI is the thing, and home builders are not. But we've seen rotation. The home builders had a big run, and this is what I'm talking about with rotation here in an uptrending bull market, which we've had since 2023 and now halfway into 2024. This is an uptrend. Does it go up every day or every week? No. It pulls back. Yeah, it stinks, but it's still in an uptrend, right? And this is just part of the rotation. The home builders have seen rotation, and part of it's due to higher rates. you know, the Fed wants the home builders to suffer a little bit with higher rates because they want more affordable housing. But we underbuilt for 10 years, and it's a supply and demand thing. But my point is just rotation, right? Had a big run and now it's going sideways, and that's fine, right? Big run and now we go sideways, and that's okay, right? Who else, you know, AI gets the love, semiconductors, hardware names, utilities. Let me go to the utilities. Or no, I'll go to the miners. Miners had a big run, right? I mean, so then now they had a big run and now they're kind of suffering a little bit, but it's just consolidation in a base. So they have the rotation, they got some love, and now the money flows out there and into other areas. I mentioned the utilities, CEG, this one's had a massive run, and now it kind of goes sideways a little bit here. It did return to that old buy point. I didn't put it on. I'm kicking myself for that as it pulled back to the 50. But you know, in a bull market, or excuse me, in an uptrending market like this, if you don't catch it, just let it go, because you know you can always, there's always going to be another trade. So don't be chasing things. You know, if you miss it, it's too bad. You don't want to be late. If you're not early, you're late. So you don't want to be late. Once again, you know, it's just utility moving like this. That's a heck of a move. Had a rotation coming its way, and now it's just consolidating. Power, same thing. Quanta Services, you know, big run up, and now we just kind of go sideways, and that's okay. Yeah, I mean, we know which stocks are getting the love. I've shown them to you already. But these ones that are selling off and consolidating, don't forget about them, because they're going to rotate back into these too. And that's how a bull market sustains itself over time, you know, over quarters and years. So that's why I say embrace the pullbacks. Don't you know, discount them. I did mention the hardware names, you know, CAMT, this thing is just killing it. SMCI got some love earlier, and now it's consolidating in a base, but it's starting to perk up as well. DELL, obviously, it's getting some love, and the ones that I mentioned earlier, the Micron, you know, the NVIDIAs, yeah, rotation into these big time. So those are what's getting the love now. But we also had the HVAC stocks, right? Massive run, and now it goes sideways for a little bit. This one actually made a new high today. So maybe they're rotating back into the HVAC stocks. Just keep an open mind here. Look at this move. It's a massive move, and now it goes sideways for a little bit. That's not the end of the world. This is good. It's actually good. This is why I'm pointing this out. Embrace pullbacks. Insurance stocks, I'm not really a big fan of. Seems like they've kind of according to the inflation report, that they've kind of calmed down. This is a lot of consolidation there on Gallagher. The other one is Oscar, not so much the you know, auto and home, but another insurance company broke out, pulled back. I have this on the ready list, it's not doing much, but you know, you can see the big moves, right? I mean, you could consolidate into base, another big move, so let them consolidate. The money will flow back into these. The aerospace names, I like these. GE is one, made the big move, right? I mean, this is a massive move for GE, and now it's just consolidating in a base, doing nothing wrong. You know, it did pull back here. That's okay. All right. Yeah, I kind of like the looks of that one. FTAI, another one, made a new high today. So maybe money's flowing back into these stocks. AVAV. I know this one's been super strong. And pulled back. This one, yeah, making new highs. And RKLB. Somebody asked me about this one. You know, this is a laggard in a group of stocks, you know, that are really strong, is a laggard. So I gotta show you the laggards. The retail names, like a Costco, right? Had a big move, consolidated, now getting some more love. I showed Bros already. I showed you Elf. I showed you the restaurant name, so they're getting love too. Merck, the drug names, you know, had a big move, right? 99 to 133 is a big move. Now goes sideways. Maybe money will start flowing back into drugs, but it's definitely rotated out for a little bit as they chop sideways. That's okay. Pfizer is another one. Not that I really like Pfizer, but it had a big move, right? 32 to 40. Now pulls back, just consolidating in a little bit of a, you know, tight pattern there. Not getting much love, but keep an open mind, because these things can bounce too, just like Stocks that have been trading below their 50. Anyway, that was my point that I was trying to make. Embrace pullbacks. Don't forget about stocks. Just because we're out of favor now, they can catch fire and rip too. But obviously, it's a stock picker's market. I showed you a ton of winners that you want to stick with the winners, but I'm also keeping stocks that have sold off in mind that are consolidating. So try to think of, the next move, right? Like Gretzky says, you want to know where the puck is going, not where it's been. All right, that's it for me today. I did want to show a couple of, just a teaser. This is what they're talking about. These gap heads. AMBA, it gapped higher, right? Okay, so it gaps higher in earnings on May 31, 20% move. Yippee, right? It's going to go to the moon, right? Well, then it pulls back to its 21. That's okay. And went from what, 60, 50, 99 to what, 55. So it makes a 5-point move. I don't know, 10%. But all it's done is pull back. It's not a loser stock. It's just pulling back. It's above its moving average. It looks pretty good to me. CVNA was another one they're whining about. Yeah, it gapped higher after its earnings report. May 2nd, yeah, 33% move. We'll take that. And it just pulled back to its moving average. I know it's not ideal. You want to see it go to the moon. Everybody wants everything to go to the moon. That's just not reality. And then First Solar was another one they pointed out to me, but it made a big move. 19% move, then followed it up a couple days, 10, 11%. Now it pulled back to the 21. That's not a fail to me. A fail would be if it, traded down to its, through its 50 down to the 200. That would be no bueno. But right now, I mean, it's just pull back to the 21. I mean, actually, I'm thinking it's more of a buy now than it was when it was way up there. You see the 24 there, that's kind of, went up 24% short period of time. So it's the 8-week hold rule. I don't use that rule because it's burned me before. And I don't like, be too rigid. I want to be flexible. So it's 32% here on this daily chart. But anyway, I just want to point that out. I'm going to have 20 stocks, 20 of the best setups that I've had on power earnings gaps tomorrow. Yeah. Broadcom will be one of them. I know it pulled back today. People were whining. Oh my gosh, Broadcom, it didn't go up today. Wah. Well, you know what? It pulled back 1%. Yesterday it was up again. First of all, it gapped up 12% last week following earnings, then followed that gap up. So this week it's only up 4%. So we got to whine about that now. People are getting awfully spoiled. Yeah, 23% move last week, and it's only up 4% this week. So anyway, I've got a lot of good stocks tomorrow. I'm going to drop that video on YouTube and on mcstockcharts.com, where we never give up. Thank you for watching.